Welcome to Paranormal, where the shadows whisper and true stories blur the line between reality and nightmare. Every encounter shared here is real and far more disturbing than fiction. Dare to listen?
Sometimes the most terrifying experiences don't begin with ghosts rattling chains or shadows lurking in dark hallways. Sometimes they begin with something so small, so ordinary that you would never think twice about it, like a single bite of food. What you're about to hear is the story of Nan, a young woman in Thailand whose life changed forever because of one simple, playful mistake. Nan was just another student chasing her dreams. She grew up in Sisaket, a quiet province in northeast Thailand, and like so many others, she longed for the opportunities waiting in Bangkok. The city was a world of towering buildings, neon lights, and relentless motion, a place that promised a brighter future, but only if you were willing to fight for it. Nan was determined. She rented a cheap apartment near her university, barely enough space to call her own, but close enough to campus to balance her classes with a part-time job. Life wasn't easy, but she made it work. Over time, she built a small circle of friends in the building, people she could laugh with after long days. And when she found a stable job near her school, her world felt just a little more secure. It was at that job where she met a coworker from another province. Their connection was instant, the kind of friendship that seems to bloom without effort. They shared meals, went shopping together, and spent hours talking about everything and nothing. To Nan, this friendship felt like a gift in the chaos of the city. But what she didn't realize is that even the closest of friends can carry secrets. Nan first noticed it at dinner one evening. Her friend would always take a small portion of food and set it aside, sometimes at the edge of her plate, sometimes in a small bowl. She never touched it. At first, Nan thought nothing of it. Maybe it was a habit, or maybe she just didn't like certain foods. But the pattern continued. Each time they ate together, there it was again. Food deliberately placed to the side and left untouched. Curiosity grew, but Nan, polite as always, kept her thoughts to herself. One evening, however, her playful side got the better of her. Smiling, she pointed at the untouched portion and teased, "You're not eating that? Okay then, I'll have it." Before her friend could stop her, Nan picked up the food and ate it. The change in her friend's expression was immediate. No anger, no laughter, just a look of unease, of worry so deep it sent a chill through Nan's chest. The air between them felt heavy. Nan quickly apologized, brushing it off as a harmless joke, and her friend said nothing more. But from that moment on, everything changed. Nan's health began to decline. At first, it was subtle, just a little more fatigue than usual. She blamed her busy schedule, the long shifts, the classes, the stress of city life. But soon it became impossible to ignore. Her body weakened rapidly. Tasks that once felt easy now left her exhausted. Walking across her small apartment became a struggle. She withdrew from her routines, and strangely, no one seemed to notice. Friends who used to call or drop by suddenly fell silent, as if they had been erased from their memory. Alone in her dim apartment, Nan wasted away. Her aunt was the one who finally reached out. The moment she saw Nan, she asked a question that is half joke, half serious warning in Thai culture. "Were you cursed?" Nan's family had always carried a deep spiritual awareness. Her grandfather in particular was known as a healer, someone who could see and confront forces beyond the physical world. To her aunt, Nan's illness looked like something more than exhaustion. Her aunt gave her a small statue of Lord Ganesha, hoping its protective presence would help. But instead of relief, Nan's condition worsened. She stopped eating. Her body rejected everything but small sips of water. Soon, she was confined to her bed, teetering on the edge of life and death. And that's when the horror began. Nan drifted in and out of consciousness, her body too weak to move. In that half-awake, half-asleep state, she began to see them, shadowy figures gathering around her bed. She felt their hands, cold and unyielding, pulling at her arms and legs, trying to drag her away. She couldn't cry out. She couldn't fight. The terror was crushing, her very soul on the brink of being torn from her body. But then, in the midst of that suffocating darkness, something extraordinary appeared. A radiant elephant burst into her vision, glowing with a blinding light. It raised its trunk and sprayed her with water. The sensation was so vivid, so real, that Nan jolted awake, gasping as though ice-cold water had been poured over her. And with that, her strength returned.
Nan scrambled to reach her phone. To her shock, her friends answered immediately, confused and worried. "Where have you been?" they asked. "Why did we only just remember to call you now?" It was as if, in some strange way, she had been erased from their memory until that moment. Her aunt and grandfather rushed to her side. After hearing her story and seeing her weakened state, her grandfather confirmed the unthinkable. Nan had been cursed. He pressed her for details. Had she eaten anything unusual, broken any taboos? And that's when the memory returned. The harmless bite she had taken from her friend's untouched portion of food. Her grandfather's face darkened. That food, he explained, had not been leftovers. It had been an offering for spirits. In Thailand, some people keep spirits for protection, wealth, or influence. These spirits demand offerings, and they are not to be disrespected. By eating the food set aside for them, Nan had offended them directly, and they had punished her for it. But that wasn't the only problem. Her grandfather explained that her apartment itself was a spiritual disaster. The entrance directly faced the kitchen and bathroom, and the front pointed toward a temple crematory. The layout invited restless spirits to linger. Her grandfather claimed he could see them even then, ghosts perched on the branches outside her window, watching her, waiting. To save her, rituals were performed. She was taken to a temple where monks blessed her, shielding her from further harm. Her grandfather conducted protective ceremonies at home to drive away the lingering forces. Slowly, Nan began to recover. But her grandfather gave her a chilling warning. The curse was not truly gone. Once spirits mark a person, it is nearly impossible to erase the connection. They would always know her. They would always try to find her. To protect herself, Nan had to change her way of life. One safeguard, her grandfather insisted, was deceptively simple. She had to keep her hair short, always. By altering her appearance, she could confuse the spirits, making it harder for them to recognize her. From then on, Nan lived differently, her life forever altered by a single moment of playful ignorance. What began as a harmless joke had spiraled into a fight for her very soul. For the narrator who shared this story, Nan's experience is more than a chilling ghost tale. It's a reminder of how fragile the boundary between the living and the spiritual world can be. In cultures like Thailand, where ancient beliefs still breathe through everyday life, even the smallest act of disrespect can awaken forces beyond comprehension. And that's the haunting truth here. It wasn't the shadows, the curses, or even the near-death visions that sealed Nan's fate. It was a single bite of food. So, what do you think? Was Nan truly cursed by offended spirits? Or was it all a terrifying coincidence wrapped in cultural belief? Either way, her story warns us of the unseen weight behind traditions we might not understand. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and comment your thoughts below. And if you want to hear more unsettling true experiences from around the world, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Who knows? The next story might be closer to home than you think.